Hello and welcome to Baron's Gamer. I'm Aaron as always. And in my last video, I made a mistake. I repeatedly said in my last video that Exit Games was the company or the series that had the box of games that were all based on other board games, Ticket to Ride, Mysterium, and Pandemic. I was wrong. That was actually a whole nother company, Unlock Games, because I bought that. Yeah, weekend before last, we were out at one of our playtesting events, and at a place in Norman called Wizards Asylum, and we were walking around and saw this. We're like, oh, hey, that's that one we've been wanting to play, and realized it was a totally different company, Unlock, not Exit. So we bought it, and we've played two of the events scenarios in it so far, and spoiler alert for the end, guys, we have absolutely loved it. Yes, the Unlock series of games, I know they at least used to sell like singular boxes, but they do a lot of these 3-game boxes like this where you basically buy it and they have an easy, medium, and hard scenarios within this box. And like I said, these ones are based off of popular board games, Ticket to Ride, Mysterium, and Pandemic. We've already done these two. We're very excited to do this one. And yeah, let's talk about them a little bit. So you may have saw on the back of the box there that you need an app to play this game. That is absolutely true. You absolutely are required to have an app to play this. It is necessary. So I do understand that for some people that's going to be a big negative. That does mean that there's officially like, how long you could ever play this game. But also, like any of these sort of escape room games, they're pretty much one and done things anyways. Once you've done it, if you went through another time, it would just be trying to solve it faster because you wouldn't actually be, figuring out. You already know all the answers. It's just do you remember the answers? So they're all kind of one and done anyway. So I guess that's not really that big of a deal, until several years in the future, I guess, whenever no one will be able to sell these off or trade them off anymore because the app doesn't work. But that's not the time we're living in. We're living in the now, and I think the phone stuff in this one was super cool. I always do my best to not show off too much about these because I don't want to spoil anything for people, but I will open up and show you a little bit about it. This I haven't used yet. As you can tell, it's for the next scenario, and I'm really excited to get to use it. Basically, when you open it up, you'll see something like this. See up here? This is a cool little tutorial one. So you have a quick little 10-minute scenario you can pull out your phone and do where you have to escape from this little locked room. And I'll use this to sort of show off how the game works a little bit. So basically, if you've played the Clue ones, it's very similar to that in that you have these little number icons, and whenever you decide to, check out one of the items in this area, places in this area, you just find the card that matches that. So if I want to look at 11 here, I would dig through this deck until I found card 11. Show me, where is it? There we go. And then boom. Oh, here's what I found there. I found a key. And then there you go. So sometimes you find items. I'll go and just flip over some of these cards to show you what you can find here. Sometimes you find items like this, these blue items. Sometimes you find these red items or locations. And the basic thing is if you add the right blue and red together, you'll get a new number. So this example, if I were to add these two together, I'd end up with 53. That's not even one of the cards here. It's a wrong answer, but that's the thing you could do. Let's see. You also could find, no. Sorry, guys. Here we go. You can find these things with these greens on. Those are called machines. This is part of the thing you need the app for. At the bare minimum, you will have these machine cards in your adventures, your escape room you're doing. And on the app, there'll be a little button that has that little logo on it, machine. You press it, and then you type in this number. And then there's something you need to do there. So like for this situation, it's just you need to type in the proper code to get out. We've had other ones that are much more complicated. But yes, you activate some sort of machine that you have to interact with on the phone in some way. Typing in a code, wiping some dust off of a thing, connecting some proper stuff, spelling out stuff on a Ouija board was a cool little thing in Mysterium. Yeah, items like that. Here's what I can't show you. Here we go. Here's something like this. You have this locked cabinet and this key. I wonder what could be this key used for. If I add 35 and 11 together, I get 46. And oh, hey, look, there is a card 46. Hey, look, I unlocked the cabinet. So yeah, that's basically what we're going with here. It's sometimes it's just finding the right pieces when it's interacting. Sometimes you have to look at the cards themselves because sometimes there's art there's hidden clues within the art. This one's pretty obvious. You can see that 16 up in there, and that anytime you find a number like that on a card, you go and you find that number. So, oh hey, look, 16. Boom. So yeah, you can look for numbers like that hidden in there. You can look for clues. I'm not going to go through it, but I can tell you that right there is a hint and a clue for another puzzle in this little tutorial. But that's the basis of how this game works. Is basically at some point you're usually in some kind of room, you jump around, and you're just looking for like the obvious numbers or sometimes the hidden numbers. They're often a lot more better hidden than this one. This is very easy for the tutorial. And clues and stuff to find the right things to pair together and just find yourself more cards. I will warn you, though, you can't just start throwing things together willy-nilly. You can't just be like, what if I shove a key into a TV and just whatever? Because it's not in the tutorial here, but I can tell you from what we've played, there are punishments. There are times where if you combine the wrong blue and red things together or find the wrong clues and stuff, you can go to a card that will be there. You'll be like, oh, look, there is a 37. And then you grab card 37 and it's like, oops, mistake. And those have some sort of negative penalty on them. We didn't get any penalties in Mysterium, so I actually don't know what a penalty does in that one. But when we were doing Ticket to Ride, we had a couple of penalties, and on those we were forced to lose a minute of our time. So we actually had a time limit for that one. We had a certain amount of time to get it done, and we had to lose a minute when we got it wrong. So be careful. You can't just start digging through the deck and grabbing whatever. It is supposed to be a one or more player experience, and for the most part, it definitely is. When we've played Ticket to Ride, it was just me and my wife, and basically she took over the role of like the deck person. She just kind of held the deck of cards in her hand the whole time. And anytime we were like, there's a number, she just ticked through to find it real quick. And she maintained that role for Mysterium as well. We had a friend helping us in that one. I will say we did come across a bit of a strange thing in the Mysterium one. Because again, as far as it's advertised, it says these are all supposed to be, up to a single player experience or more. You can have more as you can't. Infinite number of players, but one player experience. And there was a moment where the phone made us give the phone to one of our players, and they weren't allowed to show us the phone or fully communicate with us. They were possessed by a ghost, and they had to like communicate through like knocking on the table at us, which is cool, which is really fun. I really liked it. But after we were done playing, we were like, so I guess in a one-player game, you just get possessed by the ghost and just get given the answer? Because otherwise you lose that whole communicating thing. There's no one else, so I don't know. That was just one little weird thing we came across. Some other stuff that we've had to deal with on the phone was each one tends to have some sort of like thing you can interact with. And the Ticket to Ride one, we had a camera and we need to take pictures of certain things. That was cool. At one point, Mysterium, we needed to also point our camera, not like just a camera on our phone, at something. Like it needed access so we could like watch like lightning flash and reveal a number. That was a super cool thing as well. There's a lot of like piecing the cards together in a way that can like build pictures out for you. That's really neat. There's a hidden objects thing where every now and then, like as you go through, it knows by the numbers you're typing in kind of where you are in the thing, and a little time limity. And so there were some times where like we were just kind of waiting on the phone. The phone needed to kind of go, hey, by the way, look at this, or check that out, or progress on. Like at one point in Ticket to Ride, we had made it to a stop, and it's like, hell, we have a little half hour stop where we just stop off, wait for a bit, then get back on the train and keep riding. And we didn't have to literally wait half an hour, but we did some stuff there, and then we were like, well, where do we go? And then after just like a minute or two of sitting there, probably not a minute, it's probably less than that, the phone was like, oh, get on board, go ahead and grab this card. So, interesting. It's a bit immersive, and as I said, personally, we really enjoyed how much this one kind of utilized the cards and the phone. This one kind of seems to take all the things we like about the other ones and puts them together. It's got a lot of sticking to the cards and piecing them together like Deckscape has. It's got a lot of the looking around a room like Clue has. It's got some really interesting phone stuff like the box 1 and 2 had. I think this might be our favorite little at-home escape room thing. We did hit a couple of puzzles, I think really one in each, that was really odd and hard, and even the hints didn't really help us figure anything out about it. But as a whole, we have really enjoyed this experience, and I think it's pretty obvious, we already said it earlier, for us, the Unlock games, especially this little trio of games, is Baron approved, y'all. Oh, and hey, real quick, before you go, if you download the app, they'll show you there are some demo adventures. There's like 5 or so free print and play adventures you can do for this. So if you want to try this out, all it'll cost you is how much it costs you to print off some cards. So check it out.